So who was with you this weekend?
A bunch of my friends.
Diddy, Quincy, Justin Bieber, so far French Montana.
Like, it was legit crazy scary. I was waking up in the morning and the first thing I was doing is popping pills and smoking a blunt and starting my day.
Party stories, they're our favorite genre of anecdote.
Oh, really? One, yeah. Wow, okay, I've got a lot I can't tell. So, can't tell that one either. I mean, like actually cycling through them.
I was curious. I got a chance to see some things.
Yeah, but you were 13. What were you seeing?
I went there to see the lifestyle.
Right.
And I saw it. And it was, but I don't know if I could indulge and understand what I was even looking at. It was pretty wild.
Have you been into these rooms where these
I leave 30 minutes for the devil get there. That's all I gotta say.
Okay, there you go.
That's what Denzel told me. Leave 30 minutes for the devil get there.
Invited me for weeks, asking me to come and teach him how to, wanted me to be his acting coach for a while. Go there and he's sitting around just looking. I'm like, okay, what's the material you want to work on? He's just looking at me. Then next thing you know, okay, hey, will you help me? I want to hear your music. So I come over there and I play the music, and he's sitting there just looking at me, like waiting. Okay. So then my assistant was like, he wants to hang out with you next week. And I was like, for what? He was like, I think he's trying to
It's over. People are done protecting Diddy. For a long time, Justin tried to keep it together. He tried to stay quiet, focus on his faith, his marriage, his healing. But behind the scenes, he was dealing with real trauma. People saw him spiraling, struggling, lashing out in ways that made headlines but never made sense. Now it makes sense. Now we know what he was carrying. And now that he is in a place where he is ready to speak, he is not just speaking for himself. He is speaking for everyone who was silenced, pushed, manipulated, and yes, forced into things by Diddy.
Got me a Lamborghini.
Oh, well, that's nice.
I haven't gotten it yet, though.
Yeah, I know. When is that coming, that Lamborghini?
According to Justin, it was never just about one man. It was about an entire network of celebrities, producers, industry insiders, and fake friends who all played their part. Some looked the other way, some helped cover it up, and some were caught in it too. Victims in their own right, dragged into Diddy's twisted world and forced to play along. Justin is ready to drop names, big ones. Names people admire and trust. Names that have stood next to Diddy at award shows, partied at his infamous events, and smiled for the cameras like nothing was wrong. But behind the curtain, Justin says the truth was dark, the pressure was constant, and the control was real.
What's up, man? You good?
I'm good. How are you?
All right, young brother, everything's good?
Everything's
Selling
great.
out arenas and everything? Starting to act different, huh? You ain't been calling me and hanging out the way we used to hang out.
According to reports from inside the courtroom, during jury selection in Diddy's trial in New York, the prosecutors presented a list to potential jurors, a list with more than 100 names. This wasn't just a random collection of people. It included actors, musicians, industry executives, and public figures who might come up during the trial. These are A-listers who had direct or indirect connections to Diddy and his inner circle. Among those listed were Michael B. Jordan, Kanye West, the Kardashians, and Mike Myers.
Do you even know half the people you're naming?
No. She didn't go to bed.
I haven't been to bed yet. You haven't? I want to be Clay when I grow up, Court. I got on a plane at 5:30 a.m. Go to this party. I think half the people there were butt naked. You would have loved it.
None of them are being charged with anything, but the simple fact that their names were submitted to the jury shows how tangled this web really is. Cassie's name came up in court again, along with other women like Danity Kane's Dawn Richard, both of whom have accused Diddy of abuse. His legal team has denied all of it, but the tide is shifting. Too much has come out. Too many witnesses are speaking up. Meanwhile, Justin Bieber's name is back in the headlines too. Not because he's accused of anything, but because of his connection to Diddy during his early career. Old footage is resurfacing and people are looking at it in a completely different light now. Clips of Diddy and a teenage Justin hanging out, talking about girls, with Diddy giving him luxury gifts, even handing over the keys to a house and a Lamborghini. All of it seems way more disturbing now that the truth is unraveling.
So check this out, yo. Justin, you ever seen the movie 48 Hours? Right now, he's having 48 hours with Diddy, him and his boy. They're having the times of their lives, like where we hanging out and what we doing. We can't really disclose, but it's definitely a 15-year-old's dream. I have been given custody of him. He signed to Usher.
I'm signed to Usher.
I had legal guardianship of Usher when you know he did his first album. I did Usher's first album. I don't have legal guardianship of him, but for the next 48 hours, he's with me. So
Justin has released a statement through his team. They clarified that he was never abused by Diddy himself, but he has seen the damage up close. The statement emphasized that he fully supports the survivors and the pursuit of justice. But what stood out most was what Justin didn't say. He never questioned the validity of the accusations. He never said it was alleged, because Justin knows. He knows the stories are real. He knows what was going on behind the scenes, and he's no longer trying to pretend he doesn't. People online have been concerned for him for a while now. His strange behavior on social media, his withdrawal from music, and the emotional posts. Many of his fans believe the trauma from what he witnessed in the industry is starting to catch up with him. Let's not forget how young he was when he got pulled into this world. He was discovered at 13 and eventually signed under Usher, who was working through the same label structure that took orders from Diddy. Somewhere along the line, Justin ended up in Diddy's hands, not as a signed artist or a business partner, but as a kid being passed around and paraded through the spotlight. That's the part that makes this even more sinister. Diddy wasn't just making decisions that affected adults in the industry. He had access to teenagers, to kids, and the people around him let it happen. Now, a lot of names are coming out, and one of the huge A-listers happens to be Jay-Z.
TV.
Okay. So we can see him soon.
He has an umbrella line. He's translated the umbrella.
Umbrella line.
He always had a plan.
Okay.
You know, he always had a plan, but he's also does commentating for Access Hollywood.
In October, an anonymous plaintiff filed a civil lawsuit against Combs, accusing him and another unnamed male celebrity of essaying her at an MTV Video Music Awards after-party in New York City in the year 2000. At the time of the alleged incident, the plaintiff was just 13 years old. According to the complaint, the plaintiff had been attempting to gain entry into the VMAs when she encountered a limousine driver who allegedly claimed to be working for Combs. The driver reportedly offered to take her to an after-party, which he did. Once at the event, the lawsuit alleges that she was presented with a document she now believes was a non-disclosure agreement and was then offered a drink. The plaintiff claims the drink made her feel dizzy and disoriented, leading her to go to a bedroom in the home to lie down and rest. It is there, the plaintiff alleges, that she was assaulted. The lawsuit states that 2 men and an unnamed female celebrity entered the room. The plaintiff claims that the 2 men allegedly assaulted her while the woman stood by. At the time of the initial filing, the identity of the second man was not disclosed. However, on December 8th, the civil complaint was amended and refiled, now naming Sean Carter, better known as Jay-Z, as the second alleged assailant. Jay's team vehemently denied all these allegations. These allegations are so heinous in nature that I implore you to file a criminal complaint, not a civil one, he said. Whomever would commit such a crime against a minor should be locked away. Would you not agree? These alleged victims would deserve real justice if that were the case. My only heartbreak is for my family, Carter added. My wife and I will have to sit our children down, one of whom is at the age where her friends will surely see the press and ask questions about the nature of these claims and explain the cruelty and greed of people. I mourn yet another loss of innocence. On February 14th, 2024, the civil lawsuit filed by an anonymous plaintiff against both Combs and Sean Jay-Z Carter was voluntarily dismissed. According to official court records, the plaintiff submitted a notice of voluntary dismissal against all defendants, bringing the case to an unexpected and unexplained end. Even more significant, the case was dismissed with prejudice, a legal designation that means the plaintiff is barred from ever refiling the same claims again. The record closes the door completely. No trial, no testimony, no public examination of the evidence. For many observers, the sudden dismissal raised more questions than answers. Where Diddy has seen his influence chipped away piece by piece with each lawsuit, Jay-Z remains protected by an aura of power, money, and control that few in the entertainment world can rival. His empire spans music, fashion, tech, real estate, and even sports. He has billion-dollar partnerships, political connections, and a long-standing reputation for being untouchable. A mogul who moves in silence and wins behind the scenes. The fact that the lawsuit was dismissed without explanation and with no public resolution only fuels speculation. Was the plaintiff plaintiff pressured to walk away? Was there a private settlement, even though none has been confirmed? Or was the sheer legal and financial weight of going up against someone like Jay-Z simply too much to carry? Whatever the reason, the case is now closed. Legally, there is no going back. And for Jay-Z, the timing could not be more convenient. With his name officially removed from the court system and no charges filed, he walks away clean, at least in the eyes of the law. A huge reason why there were so many people involved is because Puff had promised a lot to many of the stars. Diddy didn't just work with the biggest names in music. He helped launch them. In the 1990s, he played a critical role in the early careers of artists like the Notorious B.I.G., Mary J. Blige, and Usher, positioning himself not only as a producer, but as a gatekeeper to fame. These relationships were close, and in some cases, very personal. Take Usher, for example. In the mid-90s, when he was still a teenager, L.A. Reid reportedly arranged for Usher to live with Diddy, an arrangement that now raises major questions. Though Usher hasn't commented directly on the lawsuits against his former mentor, a 2016 interview with Howard Stern resurfaced, where he spoke candidly about the party environment around Diddy. There were always girls around. You'd open a door and see somebody doing it, or several people in a room having an orgy, he said. His comments have taken on new weight as more testimonies describe exactly that kind of scene, often involving people who felt too young or powerless to say no. Mary J. Blige, another artist whose early success was deeply tied to Diddy, hasn't spoken publicly either, but fans took note when she posted a cryptic message on Instagram in March 2024, shortly after some of the first lawsuits made headlines. In it, she wrote, "I burn bridges as needed."
I moved to New York City, and I lived with Sean Puffy Camp for a year.
That's the crazy thing. Now, that was L.A. Reid's idea, right? We're sending you over to something called Puffy Flavor Camp.
There you go.
To learn
Flavor Camp?
Yeah,
Flavor
that's
Camp.
what it was called. And you're going to go to Puff Daddy's. He's going
In the 90s, do you understand what that's like?
Puffy's place was like just filled with chicks and orgying like nonstop, right?
No, not really. I
Come
mean,
on.
but hey, it was curious. I got a chance to see some things.
Yeah, but you were 13. What were you seeing?
I went there to see the lifestyle.
Right.
And I saw it. And it was but I don't know if I could indulge and understand what I was even looking at. It was pretty wild.
So nobody tried to, some woman didn't come along.
I didn't say that.
Okay.
I didn't say that. What I did say is that there were very curious things taking place.
Uh-huh.
And I didn't necessarily understand it.
Uh-huh.
Biggie Smalls was there.
Biggie Smalls was there. Lil' Kim, Craig Mack.
All these people are hanging around.
Yeah, man. Faith Evans,
And your
Jodeci,
parents were
Mary
okay?
J. Blige. They didn't know none of
Oh.
I was having a good time, you know what I mean?
Does he have you doing any chores? Are you doing dishes at all? I mean, to keep you humble somewhat? Or are you just like, can you stay up till 4 a.m. with them and party?
I mean, I could. I actually stayed up longer than them.
And do you have money? What's going on?
I mean, I had like per diem.
Yeah.
I had like,
What
like
a
living.
life.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy.
14 years old. You're a dad now. Would you ever send your kid to Puffy Camp?
Hell no.
While she didn't name names, many speculated that the message was about Diddy, especially since she had recently appeared at his 2023 album release party. She and Diddy have been photographed together consistently over the years, including at his infamous white parties, known for attracting A-listers and pushing boundaries.
That don't mean y'all should be extra tight. Okay, we gonna have DJ Cassidy right now get on the ones and twos. We fed y'all, we gave y'all some drinks, now it's time to enjoy life. This is a celebration of life. This is a legendary white party. It's the real white party. Make some noise if you've been here before. Okay. And to all the kids have like an hour left. So get extra comfortable, kids, because after that, y'all gotta go. It's a wrap for y'all, because this thing turns into something that when y'all get older, y'all don't want to come to. Okay? So, let's just start to get our groove on a little bit. In an hour, we put the kids away. It's all good. Hey, DJ, let's hit it. Let's do it. Come on.
Some stars, like Damon Dash, have gone on record to clarify their distance. After a photo resurfaced of him at a 2000 4th of July party alongside Jennifer Lopez and Aaliyah, Dash responded bluntly, "Nah, I didn't go to those parties. I went to one about 20 years ago in the Hamptons with Aaliyah, but that's about it." Aaliyah, just 19 years old at the time, appears in a photo taken in a bed at the party, a snapshot that has sparked widespread discomfort and speculation about what went on behind closed closed doors. When Aaliyah tragically died the following year, Combs attended her funeral. Justin Bieber is another name that keeps coming up, and unlike most, he has spoken out. While his team has clarified that he was not a victim, Bieber acknowledged that he knew things were going on behind the scenes. Having been introduced to Diddy at a young age and often photographed in his company, Bieber's relationship with Combs has faced renewed scrutiny. Fans are now questioning what he may have witnessed and whether his silence in the past was also driven by fear or loyalty. And then there's the elite party circuit, Diddy's Playground. His 50th birthday bash in 2019 brought together Jay-Z, Beyonce, Pharrell, Kanye West, Cardi B, and Post Malone, many of whom have yet to comment publicly. Jay-Z, in particular, has been repeatedly linked to Diddy, both in legal documents and in photographs, including one where they posed together for Vanity Fair at the birthday event. He also appeared in images from Diddy's 4th of July party in 2000, the same event mentioned in multiple lawsuits. Mariah Carey was photographed with Diddy numerous times over the years, including at his 35th birthday party in 2004, where she wore a white wedding dress, and his 2007 white party. Drake, The Weeknd, and Kelly Rowland attended his 2014 New Year's Eve bash in Florida, where, in typical Diddy fashion, the host reportedly changed into silk pajamas mid-party. It's clear that not everyone around Diddy was complicit. Some may have genuinely not known the full extent of what was happening. Others may have kept their distance. But as more lawsuits make it clear that abuse was not only widespread, but also allegedly known and covered up, the silence from so many of Diddy's famous friends is starting to feel heavier. Whether they were afraid, blackmailed, or simply unwilling to jeopardize their careers, the truth is coming out, and with it, a reckoning for the entire industry that once cheered him on. As more lawsuits continue to surface involving Sean Diddy Combs, additional high-profile names from the music industry have been drawn into the growing list of accusations. Among them are R&B singer Aaron Hall and longtime Bad Boy executive Harve Pierre, both of whom have been named in separate legal filings that allege serious misconduct. In one case, a woman identified as Gardner filed a lawsuit alleging that in 1990, she and another woman were assaulted by both Combs and Aaron Hall. The lawsuit states that the two men were involved in an incident of violence against her and her friend. Separately, in December 2023, another woman who filed anonymously came forward with a civil lawsuit accusing Combs, former Bad Boy Entertainment president Harve Pierre, and a third unidentified man of severe misconduct in 2003, when she was 17 years old and still in high school. According to the complaint, the woman met Pierre at a lounge in Michigan, where he allegedly engaged in unwanted contact. Pierre is then said to have contacted Combs, who allegedly persuaded the underage girl to travel via private jet to New Jersey. After arriving, she was reportedly taken to Combs's New York recording studio, Daddy's House recording studio, where the suit claims she was given alcohol and substances that left her impaired. The lawsuit alleges that, following this, the plaintiff was subjected to further non-consensual acts involving Pierre, Combs, and a third man. She also states that she remembers very little about how she got back to Michigan the following day, underscoring the lasting trauma and confusion from the experience. Another explosive name on that now infamous list shown to jurors is Rodney Lil Rod Jones. And unlike some of the other celebrities mentioned, Jones is not staying silent or playing defense. He is going directly for the truth, no matter how uncomfortable it is for the industry to hear. Rodney Jones was not just another background figure. He worked closely with Diddy as a producer on his 2023 project, The Love Album, Off the Grid. From 2022 to 2023, Jones says he was living inside Diddy's world, literally, residing at his home while they worked on music. But what happened behind those doors was not just about studio sessions or chart-topping hits. Jones filed a detailed lawsuit earlier this year, one that shook the industry and pulled even more powerful names into the mess. According to his suit, Diddy repeatedly groped him, exposed himself, and forced him into situations involving and illegal drugs. The allegations don't stop there. Jones claims Diddy tried to coerce him into having men in the industry, offering up the ultimate bait, a Grammy Award. In one of the most disturbing claims, Jones alleges that he was S.A.'d in Diddy's home by a cousin of rapper Young Miami, who was publicly dating Diddy at the time. And what makes it even worse is that this reported assault happened in front of Diddy and his staff, who allegedly did nothing. Jones did not keep his accusations limited to just Diddy himself. His lawsuit also named Diddy's son, Justin Dior Combs, and several corporate entities tied to Diddy Diddy's empire, Combs Global Enterprises, Love Records, and even his chief of staff, Christina Courtroom, were all listed as co-defendants. According to Jones, not only was he abused, but he was never paid properly for his work on the album. He also exposed a violent incident, an alleged shooting at a recording studio involving Diddy, Justin Dior Combs, and an unnamed victim. All of this paints a much darker picture of what was going on during the creation of an album that was marketed as a celebration of love and artistry. But it goes even higher. The original version of the lawsuit also named Universal Music Group, Motown Records, former Motown CEO Ethiopia Habtemariam, and UMG's chairman Lucian Grange as co-defendants. These were major figures and institutions in the music business. Although lawyers for Grange and UMG denied the claims and were later dropped from the suit, their names being included in the first place shows just how widespread this network really was. Rodney Jones is one of the first people from inside Diddy's creative team to speak publicly and legally about what was going on. His story doesn't just accuse, it documents. It lays out names, dates, actions, and consequences. And it adds to the growing body of evidence that this wasn't the case of one man going rogue. It was a whole structure, a whole machine, and a whole lot of people who either helped it work or refused to shut it down. Some didn't take his and Dawn Richards is one of those people. A former protege of Diddy and a key figure in his reality TV empire, she has stepped forward with a lawsuit that reveals the dark reality behind the polished image of his music ventures. What she describes is not just occasional misconduct or personal disputes. It is a pattern of control, abuse, humiliation, and exploitation that allegedly lasted for years, and it began the moment she entered Diddy's world. Dawn first met Diddy in 2004 when she auditioned for the MTV reality show Making the Band. She won a spot in the girl group Danity Kane, which was formed and controlled under Diddy's mentorship. But according to her September lawsuit, what seemed like a dream opportunity quickly turned into a nightmare. Dawn claims that she and her fellow bandmates were subjected to inhumane working conditions. They were reportedly forced to rehearse for nearly 2 days straight with no food, no rest, and no concern for their health or safety. Diddy, she says, berated them constantly and ruled through fear. The goal wasn't just to mold a music group, it was to break their spirit and gain total control. But the psychological abuse wasn't the worst of it. According to her suit, the verbal degradation was paired with invasive and unwanted physical contact. Diddy would reportedly barge into her dressing room uninvited, often during fittings, and grope her without permission. Dawn says he would schedule meetings with her while wearing nothing but underwear, a calculated move meant to assert dominance and reduce her sense of boundaries. This was not a workplace, it was an environment ruled by power plays and intimidation. And it didn't end when Danity Kane disbanded in 2009. Dawn continued to work with Diddy in the music trio Diddy Dirty Money, along with singer Kalena Harper. But even in this new phase of her career, the abuse continued. Her lawsuit claims that Harper, too, witnessed and experienced Diddy's violent temper and threats. The trauma, Dawn says, followed her through every professional chapter she shared with him. Her complaint also reveals that she witnessed Diddy physically abuse Cassie Ventura on several occasions, offering disturbing confirmation to the public allegations Cassie herself later made. The cycle of abuse wasn't limited to one woman or one moment in time. It was part of a much larger culture Diddy allegedly created, a toxic, dangerous environment where women were controlled, harassed, and degraded, while being forced to remain loyal and silent. One of the most disturbing incidents laid out in her lawsuit took place in 2010 at SIR Studios, a well-known rehearsal space. According to Dawn, she and fellow singer Kalena Harper were publicly berated by Diddy right in the studio lobby. The mogul allegedly called in front of staff and onlookers. When Dawn had the courage to tell him to stop, he didn't apologize. He didn't back down. Instead, she says he tried to punch her in the face. That moment could have easily ended in physical violence, but it didn't stop there. The lawsuit alleges that after the confrontation, Dawn and Kalena were forced into a company car. What happened next is being described as false imprisonment. She claims that Diddy, with the help of music executive Harv Pierre, locked them inside the vehicle for over 2 hours. against their will. Not everyone who stood beside Diddy over the years did so willingly. As more lawsuits unravel the dark ecosystem surrounding the music mogul, insiders and victims alike are coming forward with stories of stars, executives, and staffers who were allegedly blackmailed, threatened, or intimidated into silence. Some were forced to stay quiet, told to look the other way, or pressured to support Diddy in public while knowing what was really happening behind the scenes. For years, this unspoken rule of silence helped protect his empire and the powerful people connected to it.
Struggling with that. You see Bieber struggling with that. You see some of these guys struggling with that.
They can't get it out of their head. They can't get it out of their head. The things that they did, no matter how they did it, whether they were drunk or high or whatever, you gave up your man card. You need therapy. And that's the thing that hurts them the most. And so they end up on drugs, end up every way to try and get rid of any principles there are. And that's what the business does. And the women that trade their bodies to go and get the role, they get to the point where they have their Oscar, they have their money, but they don't have their dream. They don't have the soul that they started with. So it's like achieving don't mean anything. If I get all the Nobel Prizes from doing all of this, but in the process I have to trade out all of my integrity to do it so that they can stay in place, what benefit is that if I lose my integrity? You got to go in as a principal. And what we were brought in here as men.
This wasn't just about blind loyalty, it was about survival. In an industry where careers can disappear overnight, many people who allegedly witnessed Diddy's abusive behavior say they felt they had no choice. They were afraid of losing jobs, deals, reputations, and sometimes their personal safety. Some were allegedly bribed. Others were allegedly blackmailed with private information or compromising footage. And the few who spoke out were punished, frozen out, or had their reputations dragged through the mud. Among the names now coming up is Jimmy Iovine, the legendary co-founder of Interscope Records. In a lawsuit filed by Dawn Richard, the former Danity Kane singer and longtime collaborator of Diddy, she accuses Iovine of being present at a party where he witnessed Diddy violently assault Cassie Ventura, punching her in the stomach. Despite witnessing the incident firsthand, Richard's lawsuit claims Iovine and Interscope continued with a major business deal involving Diddy and Bad Boy Entertainment, turning a blind eye to his behavior. The lawsuit doesn't just place Iovine in the room, it holds him accountable, suggesting that he had the power and position to speak up, intervene, or at the very least, cut ties. Instead, he allegedly chose to protect the deal and the relationship, further enabling Diddy's power structure. In the storm of allegations crashing down on Sean Diddy Combs, one name that continues to surface is Young Miami, also known as Caresha Brownlee, one half of the rap duo City Girls. In recent years, she was romantically linked to Combs, appearing at events by his side and even hosting him on her own Revolt TV show, Caresha Please. But as accusations against Combs piled up, Brownlee made it clear she wanted no part in the controversy. Speaking publicly in August 2024, Caresha distanced herself from the growing number of lawsuits and survivor accounts. "I can't speak on these allegations because I wasn't around at the time," she said. "I don't know that person, and that wasn't my experience." Her statement was brief, guarded, and left many wondering if she was trying to protect herself or someone else. Because just 1 month later, her name appeared in a lawsuit filed by an unnamed woman who accused Combs of a pattern of abuse and exploitation, stretching from 2021 to 2024, years that overlapped with Young Miami's public relationship with him. While Brownlee is not listed as a co-defendant, the complaint alleges that she played a disturbing role behind the scenes. According to the lawsuit, the plaintiff was forced to travel and perform for Combs repeatedly, with many of the travel expenses arranged by his chief of staff, Christina Coram. In 2022, the lawsuit claims the woman was allegedly coerced into using drugs and having Combs. After discovering she was pregnant and informing Combs, the plaintiff says she began receiving aggressive phone calls from Brownlee, who allegedly pressured her to have an abortion. The stress from that period, the suit states, ultimately led to a miscarriage. Some observers believe Young Miami's silence may have been driven by fear. As more people speak out about how Diddy controlled and intimidated those in his circle, it's possible Brownlee was one of the many who felt trapped in his orbit. Being close to Combs both professionally and personally may have placed her in an impossible position. When you're surrounded by power, influence, and a man many say used fear as his most powerful tool, Speaking out isn't just difficult, it can feel dangerous, whether young Miami was complicit, coerced, or caught in something far darker than she expected. The lawsuits continue to paint a fuller picture of the ecosystem around Diddy. Apart from that, one of the more surprising relationships in Diddy's social orbit was with Ashton Kutcher. The actor, best known for his early 2000s sitcom fame and MTV's Punk'd, became close enough to Diddy to co-host the 2009 White Party at the mogul's home. The guest list that year included Chris Brown, Lil' Kim, and Kutcher's then-wife, Demi Moore. Years later, in a 2019 appearance on Hot Ones, Kutcher hinted that his memories of those parties weren't exactly for public consumption. "I've got a lot I can't tell," he told host Sean Evans. "Diddy party stories, man, that was some memory lane thing." His smile said more than his words, but his silence echoed even louder. Those white parties weren't just elite gatherings. They were known for pushing boundaries, sometimes to disturbing degrees. One of Diddy's 2004 Miami events reportedly featured food being served on the chest of a naked woman. According to reports, the guest list included names like Will Smith and Bruce Willis, two of the biggest movie stars of the era. Even Puffy thought his parties were crazy.
So the hottest ticket around.
They won't even give me a permit for the parties, man. They don't want me to throw the parties no more. But we ain't gonna stop. We're gonna keep on having fun, bringing people together from all walks of life. You're gonna hear about my parties. They're gonna be shutting them down. They're gonna probably be arresting me, doing all types of crazy things just because we wanna have a good time. You know, whenever you bring up a different element into people's environment, things that broaden people's horizon, people get intimidated. There's a lot of people out there that feel intimidated by it. It ain't nothing but breaking down racial barriers, breaking down generation barriers. People from all walks of life. Ron Perlman talking to Jay-Z, Jay-Z talking to, you know what I'm saying? It just goes on and on. You know, it's just like people from all walks of life connecting and getting together. Yeah.
Your parties are the hottest ticket in town. People dying to get into your party. How does that make you feel?
I mean, it's cool. You know, it doesn't make me feel any way special. It doesn't make me feel like a bigger person. It just makes me feel like I know how to throw a party.
As the years went on, Diddy's parties remained a magnet for fame. In 2022, actress Kate Beckinsale was seen celebrating with him both at his BET Lifetime Achievement Award after-party and his London birthday celebration that same year. Lindsay Lohan was also part of his social circle, having attended multiple events over the years, including a private get-together aboard his yacht in Cannes in 2008, and that same 2009 White Party, where so many major celebrities made appearances. Even Leonardo DiCaprio, one of the most recognizable faces in global cinema, has been seen in Diddy's orbit. A photo of him at Diddy's inaugural White Party in 1998 resurfaced online recently, raising questions about who knew what and when. In response, a source close to DiCaprio firmly denied any claims of involvement in the darker side of Diddy's world, telling Mail Online, "He has nothing to do with any of that world. So for anyone to assume that he will get roped into this based on a few grainy photos that are more than 20 years old is ridiculous." Still, it wasn't just one moment in time. The two were photographed together on several occasions. DiCaprio was even filmed dancing at Diddy's 50th birthday bash, and in a 2017 Vogue interview, Diddy named him as his #1 invitee for the next White Party, and even Diddy said he loved having him there.
And I'm sure that's probably not public information yet, but who's the person that's #1 on that invitation list?
Leonardo DiCaprio.
And I can get on that list,
yes,
right?
Without a doubt, you are invited.
That is so generous of you. Cheers to that.
See you at the White Party.
While presence at a party doesn't equal participation in any wrongdoing, what's clear is that many of the world's most famous celebrities were consistently around Diddy. They shared stages, red carpets, yachts, and VIP rooms. Now, in the face of serious allegations that paint a picture of power abuse and silence, some of those connections feel less like glamour and more like shadows. Some of these stars may have had no idea what was happening behind the scenes. Others may have heard whispers but chose to ignore them. And still others, like Kutcher, may have known more than they were ever willing to say. In the end, it's not about guilt by association. It's about questioning who helped build the image, protect the access, and keep the machine moving. As the truth continues to surface, one thing is becoming clearer by the day. Diddy didn't build his empire alone, and he didn't celebrate it in silence. So, what do you think? Comment down below and let us know. If you liked this video, click the subscribe button and hit the bell icon to be the first to see my next video. I post updates like this every week where I uncover the secrets of your favorite celebrities.